This is Gary Garver. If you like I do, or have a job where you sit all day and your back hurts and you're in pain and you don't know what to do, I have a perfect solution for you. It's iSpot. iSpot is formulated compression wear with pods that fit ice cold jet packs called flip pods. These flip pods fit your joints, ensuring maximum pain relief. I use it all the time because I'm always active, playing golf, working out, fixing up my place right now, and I put it on in the evening around my back, and it gives me maximum pain relief. It's amazing. You have to get it if you're in pain. To find out more about iSpot, go to iSpotActive.com and get yours today.
You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
To an on presentation of this program, KCAA, the Inland Talk Express.
All right. Welcome to the Cool Veteran Show. My name is Charles Whitehead. I'm your host of the Cool Veteran Show. Today, we're going to have a nice show for you. Another nice show. Today is Per Se Day. My guest today, I have Herman Hogan and Ray Law, and these are the two guys that, along with myself, make up the group Per Se. And we're going to talk for you guys today. Herman, are you there? I don't hear him. Ray, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, great. Well, Herman will be calling in. I don't know anytime, if he's not here yet. But Ray, how's it going?
I'm doing good. I just finished what I was doing, working at the church. Sweeping leaves.
Okay.
I'm a leaf wrangler.
You're a leaf wrangler. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. You guys, these guys keep busy. I know they probably say I'm the busiest of the three of them, but I'm the youngest. And yeah. So today we're gonna talk music. Just kind of mix it up a little bit. Generally, the show is about veterans, disabled folks, disabled people. Music and special events, sporting events that we use at the PVA, PVA, Paralyzed Veterans of America. Of course, I'm the president of the Paralyzed Vets of America, the Long Beach chapter, the California chapter in Long Beach. And, we just, we do a lot of things for the community as an organization. The PVA.org is the main chapter. And so we do a lot of things. Has Herman made it yet? Oh, okay. There you go. That's Herman Hogan. How you doing, Herm?
Okay. I can't hardly hear you, man.
Let's see if we can get a...
Hold the phone. I got you on speakerphone, so for some reason it's not loud. I don't know what's going on.
Let me see if the engineer can give us a little volume, because mine is low, too. How's that?
Okay, all right. I took it off speaker.
Oh, okay. So, Ray, let me hear you speak. Make sure we got a good connection.
Yeah. I'm okay. I'm kind of leaning a little close to the phone as well. Speaker-wise.
Well, hear me too.
Still sounds kind of low, man. For some reason, I don't know what's going on.
Well, that's you guys are calling in. We're all calling in today, but that's the nature of the phone. But you have to also turn the volume up on your speaker on your phone. So if you don't usually have it all the way up, then that would be an issue. But either way, you can hear me. We want to get Joe, our engineer, and so anyway, today we're going to talk a little bit of music and. Like I say, the three of us, so at Herman, myself, and Ray, we are the group Per Se. And first, let me get a little background. Herman, give us a little bit background of what you and how you started with music and kind of how it got you here.
Well, I started probably the same story in church when I was. We went to Sunday school. We went to 11 o'clock service, and there was a lot of music going on in the church. I don't know how old I was. I probably around 5 or 6. I don't know. And so every the church was over, I'd go out in the backyard where we lived, and I would practice. I would try to talk to people at the church, the singing and the preaching and whatever. In other words, I'd have my own little private church service in the backyard. So one day my mom told me, said, "You should sing in church. You're out here in the backyard singing, so why don't you come to church and sing? So sing to the people, let the people hear you." So that's how I kind of got started. And I was a little boy, I don't know how old I was, but I stand up in church and I would sing a song, and so people got, hip to me singing. And then when I got a little older, then I became the choir, I mean, I can't really tell you this day how I knew how harmony went, timing, none of that kind of stuff. It was just like a natural thing. I can't remember ever learning music, It seemed like it was always there for some reason, some kind of way, like it was in my genes or something. So that's how I got started. And then later on, I got a job working at the L.A. County, and I met a young guy, a Mexican guy, and he had his guitar. I used to bring my guitar to work every day because I wanted to learn how to play guitar because I was in a gospel group and we wanted a guitar player. So I went out and bought me a used guitar, and I learned how to play the guitar. And then when I met this gentleman named Marty, he said, "Man, why don't you play with me? I write songs." I said, "Why don't you write songs like me? You can do it, So I started trying to write songs, and so that went on and on. I started writing, and later on in my life, I met with Charles, and we made the album. So that's how I kind of got started. That's everything in a nutshell,
Yeah. I mean, hey, I get it because my story was similar. We always grew up in a church. Being a military brat, we moved around all over the places, and lived in Germany, lived in all these different states here in the U.S. And no matter where we go, because even when my mother died in 2 years and it'll be 3 years on Veterans Day. I wrote a song about her called Sunday Morning, because every Sunday morning, no matter where we lived, we had to go to church and Sunday school. That was the deal. It wasn't negotiable. So we grew up in the church, and music was just, we sang in the choir and all of that, but it was way later in life that I got to started messing around with the music and songwriting and all. But Ray, what about yourself? When did you get into the music?
I fell in love with music before I was born. My mom was pregnant with me, and she used to play the piano, and her little belly would sit on next to the keyboard. And I don't know, but I was just, when I was born, my mom had a player piano, so you could basically play all the pedals, and this thing would play. It was pretty cool. And when I got old enough to be able to sit on the bench and stuff, my mom used to lock the piano up with a skeleton key, but I figured out how to unlock it, and I'd pedal that pedal and put the paper rolls in the piano, and man, I thought I was playing the piano like nobody's business. And then she used to come home and she'd go, "Who's been at my piano?" Because it would be open,
Mm-hmm.
And I never tell her, And then one day she caught me because I fell asleep on the keyboard. But I started really my musical journey started when I was somewhere around 7 or so, and I had gotten pneumonia, and I was in the 4th grade, 7 or 8, the doctor had recommended that I would take up a wind instrument. And so the band in elementary school, you had to be in the 5th grade in order to join the band. So my older brother, he joined the band and he took up a clarinet. And I was able, because of the doctor's orders, I was able to join the band and take up the trumpet. And so I fell in love with the trumpet, and of course, all my favorite, trumpet players. It was, Herb Albert, Dizzy Gillespie, Al Hurt, of course, the famous, Louis Armstrong, and that. And then later on, I fell in love with one of the greatest screech trumpet players ever, who was Les Chase. He was one of the best screech trumpet players. Doc Severinsen was a screech trumpet player, but he couldn't play anything like Les Chase was. But after after I took up, went from trumpet and that, I went to French horn, and then my mom and dad, they got separated and stuff, and then when I was 14 years old, I took up guitar and started playing guitar, and I don't know if any of you guys remember, but the Ventures, they had a record, the Ventures record, and they used to play like the theme Hawaii 5-0, do, right? But the Ventures records, the thing was, the Ventures was the only band that I knew that had their own album that said you can learn how to play their music. And so I had that album, and that's how I learned how to play the guitar the first time. Walk, Don't Run, and to Hawaii 5-0, and all those songs, And that was my first experience with the...
You were mixing it up in all kinds of ways. And then just for our listeners, these guys have stories, that go way back. I mean, my stories don't go far like theirs, because I'm still kind of new, relatively. I mean, not that new, but I started writing in 2007, where these guys probably started writing in the 50s and the 60s.
Yeah, probably.
That old,
Well, what'd you say, Herman?
I probably started writing in the 60s. I got a job at L.A. County in 1968, and I think that's when I bought my first guitar around that time, and I practiced it. I was working the evening shift, so I would practice in the daytime, trying to teach myself how to play the guitar. That was a guy named Gabor. He's a Hungarian jazz guitar player, and I went and seen him live one night. When I saw that, I said, I got to play that song. He had a song called Midrab, and I said, I got to learn. So I learned that song note for note. Kind of got me into the guitar as well as the gospel group that I was in. So I was inspired by Gabor Zabor to play guitar. And of course George Wes Montgomery also, and later on George Benson. So it's been a good journey. I tried to play the guitar because I started writing rather because I wanted to tell my philosophy to people. When I was in the ministry, it seemed like I couldn't get the message across. So I finally got out of the ministry, and so I said, well, I'll try to tell the stories by writing songs. So that's why I started writing music, because I wanted to tell how I saw life or what was good for people. I wanted to inspire people to be happy, to find enlightenment, you might say. So I started writing songs that would kind of give people a little enlightenment. That was my idea. Yeah.
All right. Hey, Herman, real quick, tell us, how you wrote that song, Hold On. We're going to play it here in a minute. Give us a little insight on how how that song came about. Give me like a quick 1.5 minute,
Okay. Well, Hold On was a song I wrote about. I was having marital problems with my wife, my first wife, and one day I came home from work and she left me, you know, and the house was a mess. She got a lot of stuff, and I have 2 children, you know, and she took the children with her. And I went to the neighbors, and I said, you know, I've seen my wife. What happened, you know? They said, well, we saw her leave in a cab. You know, I said, really? She didn't leave a note. She didn't say nothing. She just left. So for about 2 or 3 months, you know, I was missing persons, people I was living in Compton. I went to the Compton Police Department, filed a report, and, man, I was just really, you know, I didn't know what to do. I didn't nobody know where she was. I had no idea, you know. And so I called my best friend, a gentleman that I met in church, and his name is Mr. Hightower, Dennon Hightower. I called him up, and he said, man, don't worry, Herman, it's going to be all right. He said, the darkest hour is just before day. So that's how that cut. So, you know, that's how that song. He didn't say, hold on, don't give up. He just said, the darkest hour is just before day. Don't worry about it. So when he said that hit me. And the way this song starts out, the darkest hour just before day, and I put so hold on, don't give up. So that's how that song came about. And
okay,
it's kind
so
of
now go ahead, real quick.
Oh, I was just saying it's a song for everybody. Everybody have dark hours in their lives when it's real dark and you can't see nothing, and then the sun finally comes up. So the thing in life, that song is telling everybody just to don't worry about things, you know, just go with the flow, and eventually it'll change, and it usually does, you know. So that's true.
That's true. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the break, and we're going to listen to Hold On right now, and then we'll come back on the other side and talk more music.
Okay. All right.
And hold on. Oh, don't you give up. Don't turn and walk away. And if you hold on and don't give up, there'll be a brighter day. There'll be a brighter day. There will be a brighter day. Step at a time, so hold on, don't give up. Greatest fight is within the mind, so hold on, don't give up. You gotta hold on and don't give up. Don't turn and walk away. Hold on, there'll be a brighter day. There'll be a
We are back. That was Hold On. That was the short version. Again, here we are. We are on the Cool Veteran Show talking to Herman Hogan and Ray Law. And these guys are my partners in music over with Per Se, the band. And, so we just keep talking music. So, yeah, that was the Hold On is a song that Herman wrote, and it's very inspirational. And, we write a lot of songs that are inspirational and talk about, life, things like that. Just recently, the three of us, about a year or so ago, we got some lyrics for the Rosie's the Riveter. If people are familiar with the Rosie the Riveter, they're the ladies that worked on the airplanes and things when all of the men went to war in World War II. And so I've connected with a daughter of a Rosie who used to come on to the show that I had before. And just recently I went to Washington, D.C. last week, as a matter of fact. And, her name is Anne Montague, and she's the daughter and she's the founder of the American Rosie movement. And she just pressed me, I want to give you an award. I was thinking, nah, you don't have to give me an award. She said, no, we don't give them to people who are narcissists and this and that. She said, we give it to people like you because, I'm just doing this stuff as, for me it's like I'm a community partner, a community, I help, I do what I do because I love to do it, and the music is part of it. So Ray, Herman, myself, we, she sent us a file with just somebody playing a guitar track, and she sang, Anne's not a singer, but she sang it, and so we took what we had and kind of gave Ray the lead on that. We took the lyrics and he kind of took the lead, and so we recorded a Rosie song. And Ray, you want to give us a little talk about how you started, just what you did, and then we just kind of came along and came along with the ride, So
yeah. Well, Charles came up with the idea, and he says, "Oh, hey, there's this lady that's got a song, about Rosie the Riveter and stuff like that, And it had a little bit of a melody to it, and it had some words to it, but it really wasn't into a song form, and so we, had some time to think about it and that, and of course, what was neat is my wife and I, there's a Rosie the Riveter Park here in Long Beach, and so I wanted to get some more information about it, to see if there was something else we could add to the song. And so we went to the park, and it was well done, and they had different information on the walkway, the cement and everything that it was. And it gave me a better idea about Rosie the Riveter and what it did. There was so many people involved in that in the Second World War. You wouldn't think about it like that, but yet so many different volunteers. My aunt was a Rosie the Riveter, and so she did actually do that kind of work. It really gave an opportunity for women to get out into the workforce. Back in those days, there wasn't. Most women were regulated to being at home and stuff. So this was giving them a lot of opportunity to get out and actually work and do things that most men would have done. So it took me a while to, kind of find, see where the arrangement was, and then I brought it back to Charles and Herman, and we were able to finalize it and make it actually a song that worked, that was good for them. So I'm glad that we had that opportunity. It was a challenge. I could tell you that it was a challenge, but it worked out and it was fine.
Yes, excuse me. Yeah, it was a challenge, and but we just took we had the basics to it, and we just kind of I said, okay, let's just record what we have, and we didn't take as long as we did for our first when we recorded our first CD, But it was like, okay, over the years, and I recorded this myself. I've learned, taking classes from Magic Marino, who helped produce our first CD and things like that. So I've learned, and I actually teach songwriting now through Rancho Los Amigos Wellness Center. And so for me, it's like, okay, let's take this stuff and, I've gotten better over the years of, just filling around. And, I used to, back in the day when we started recording, Herman and myself, Ray wasn't around then. They had a couple other guys in the band then. But, it was like I didn't know anything about recording. So, and actually how I hooked up with Herman was, we went to, they used to have a thing in Long Beach, a club called The Vault. And a radio station was sponsoring them. And so I ran into Herman, and I had met Herman, like I said, through L.A. County years prior. And he told me, he said, hey, that's when I moved to Long Beach. I moved to Long Beach in 2006. And I ran into Herman at the ball, and he told me he was playing at a coffee shop. And so I started going over there, and I was just really getting into the music stuff. But, this Rosie song is, we just kind of pieced it together. And, it was a challenge, but we did it. And, we just said, hey, it was what we got. It was kind of the modernized, it wasn't the 1940s. The World War II was what, like 40? You guys would know better than I would.
I know it came to the end on my birthday. I was born in 45. That's when the war ended. So it was in the 40s. So maybe around 40. 30, 35, something like that. Not 35.
Oh, okay.
Around 39, something like that.
All right. So Ray, so what would you consider the year of the music, that we use? What?
It's more of a boogie style,
Right.
It's boogie, as far as that goes, I think it's probably more styled for like the 50s, late 50s.
50s, 60s. Yeah.
Like a rockabilly almost.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing about our music. We don't, we're not genre specific. So, we do, our music is all over the place. It's kind of like the sidewalk. We're all over town, It's like R&B, rock, reggae, gospel, funk, jazzy, country. We got some South American kind of style stuff. So, we're just, we just take whatever. And so, if you don't know, these guys are a little bit older than I am. And like I said, they've been playing since they were in the kids, So,
well, no, I started playing the guitar till I was 25.
Yeah. So you 25. He's been playing since he was 25.
Yeah.
And so,
that's pretty,
so
pretty good. Wow.
Herman's what? He's young, believe it or not, and he's every day out and about, And Ray, what do you?
Yeah, we're like 30. We're 30, almost 30 years apart. Herman's 80, I'm 70, and you're 62. So
yeah,
we cover all the generations within that.
That's 18 years, but these guys, they have.
I always say Charles is in the hip hop. He's in the hip hop more than the rest.
No, not hip hop. You mean pop? Hip hop is that rap.
He got a song that he does a little rap in. You know what I mean? So it reminds me of hip hop, style.
Right. Yeah, but it's that. I'm less hip hop, more pop rock. And then, so we call our genre. I call it a pop fusion because it's it's just kind of like old and a new mixed. It's a popular sound, but it's fused together with different genres. So that's where the genre pop fusion comes from. It was self-made. I'm kind of a trailblazer. I like to I think out of the box and go outside the box. And
well, your music, Charles, is more I think more modern than ours. I mean, I'm doing a lot of race songs. A lot of them are real old school. Then my stuff, kind of a gospel that hold on like a gospel kind of a sound. And then I got one song that's Water on the Brain, kind of like a bluesy kind of a funky bluesy kind of a song. So I think your songs are more up to date to the modern era. So
yeah.
And Ray's stuff is real old school. We got about 3 or 4 songs that's really coming up way back there. Which are good. I enjoy putting them.
Put it on another album.
Yeah, once we come, so we just we'll mix it all together. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna play that version of Rosie the Riveter, and then when we come back we'll talk some more.
Okay.
Allow us to tell you it's plain, it's simple. Rosie, we want to say thanks. With an American spirit, we want you to hear it. In unity, we want to say thanks.
Now you got a brave heart, serve with a good start, and you have a riveting smile.
You serve DC, west of Kentucky, all across America. Now we're lucky you came home with your riveting smile. Thank you, Rosie, with your riveting smile. Center, thank you, summer and winter, for helping to win freedom's fight. It's most elevated, not complicated. Thank you, Rosie, with your riveting smile. Thank you, Rosie, with your riveting smile. DC, west of Kentucky, all across America. Now we're lucky you came home with a riveting smile. Thank you, Rosie, for your riveting smile. Thank you, Rosie, for your riveting smile. Thank you, Rosie, for your riveting smile. Thank you, Rosie, with 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 your riveting smile.
All right. So that was Rosie. So that was the version we put together. I know there are some other versions of Rosie songs that probably made. Ray knows more than I do about the older versions, but it works. And so again, I was honored to be in Washington D.C. last week and have I was awarded the Noble Rosie the Riveter American Veteran Award from the American Rosie Movement. So, and that goes from the work I did from before. I guess it's been like 4 or 5 years I've been doing stuff for them, and so they were really Ann, and Ann is just I got to give it up for her for one. She flew into Washington D.C. She lives in West Virginia. She flew into D.C. on an early flight, came to the hotel where me and other people with the Paralyzed Vets to our hotel. She brought the award. I went across the street. I bought a frame for it, and we went to the mayor, the city of D.C. and the retired colonel, who's the Charlotte Woodard, is the director of mayor's office of the Veterans Affairs, and Ann went there, did all of that stuff. We finished up, went back, had some dinner, and she caught a plane back out the same day. And she started at 4:00 in the morning in West Virginia. Somebody picked her up, and she got home at midnight that night. So I got to give it up to her. And Ann is like 85, something like that. She's, she's not as mobile, but she was dedicated to doing that, and I got big respects and nothing but much love for her. So now let's switch reels and talk about kind of where we're moving in the direction of before we go to that, let's we're all per se being based in Long Beach. At some point we used to have other people playing. The band has been as big as 9 different people at one time. But we're Long Beach based, and we do a lot of things in Long Beach. My whole routine is on Thursdays. We get together, the 3 of us, and we rehearse. A lot of times, I got something else going on or whatever. Because I am the president of the Paralyzed Vets, the California chapter, and I travel with them and. For me, it's like life is I'm enjoying life. Life is great. I'm enjoying what I do, and people say, man, these guys especially. I don't know how you do it. It's like when I do 2-3 events in a day. Herman's like, man, well, I can't do that. He said 1 is enough for me. So
that's right.
So it's like, for me, it's like my story goes like this. In 2019, in 1982, I joined the Army Reserves, and before I made it home, I was in a car accident, and I almost died with a head-on collision with a drunk driver. 5 years later, after that, I was in another car accident, went off a 150-foot cliff. That's the one that paralyzed me. If you don't know, I'm paraplegic, but I'm, these guys, I don't know where you get the energy from. 6 years ago, I got sick, and I thought that was going to be it. I didn't. I recovered from that. Got sick and lost weight and all of that. I had an abscess in my spine, which was below my injury, so I didn't feel it. But if I didn't go to the hospital when I did, I wouldn't be here today. And then just to throw on a little gravy on the top, 2 years ago, 2.5 years, actually it's been, 2 years ago, I was walking my sister's dog, and the dog took off on me, and I lost control. She's pulling my wheelchair out of the car. I was like a chariot of fire, and I hit the curb and fell out of control and fell out and broke my femur. But, here I am today, still doing what I do, and I love it, So, we, getting together with the 3 of us, we have ideas.
Where you rose, Charles?
That's the way I rolled. That day was the way I crashed. That was the way the way I crashed.
Well, that particular day, I'm talking about in general. You keep down.
I hear you guys
keep on rolling.
Tell the people that you guys, because they talk about me like, man, I don't see how you do it, and I hear this from a lot of people too. But it's like it's a blessing. I'm blessed. So
yeah. Yeah. Well, you have the energy to do it, man. Why not? Of course, you're the youngest one in the band, but we're not disabled, So even though you might be younger than us, to do all the things you do in the condition that your body is in is like a miracle, man. I hats off to you. I always tell you that, and I think it's because you just have a spirit that you want to reach out and touch people. You want to help people. You love people, man, and that's what's driving your energy. The love of people, the love of doing good things, making the world a better place. You know, you're an ambassador for helping people. You know, for making progress with the human race. So that to me is one of the things that you didn't mention right now. That we're all Pisces. That the three of us, we're all born in the same month. You know, March, and I think that's why we get along good. You know, so because my desire too is to do things. The reason I write music is because I want to reach out to people and give them some inspiration. You know, that's been my whole desire all my whole life. You know, so now I try to do it through music. You know, so but that's what I see. All three of us, we all are interested in. We want to do positive things. And Ray writes a lot of songs that have a spiritual message too, you know. So that's all good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's amazing that we're all together. You know, that we managed to you know, to be together and to, you know, still have opportunity to play our music, to create our music, you know, to be able to perform. You know, it's like, for one, the band has been able to play at the Aquarium of the Pacific every year, you know, for the Abilities First festival that they have, the African American Festival. We've been able to play there. We also play at, a lot of times we'll play for the senior centers here in Long Beach and that. So, and I think, just a couple of weeks ago, we played at the VA in Long Beach for the Ability Expo that they had
Adaptive Sports Expo.
You know, right?
Yeah, you know that's the thing about it. You know, we get together. We don't, we've had drummers and bass players and extra guitar players and vocalists and percussionists and this and that, and I used to always wonder when I was younger and I hear about all these bands breaking up and stuff like that. I said, well, why are they doing all that? Well, some of it is ego, some of it is money, some of it is just just the personalities and things like that. You kind of get to know how it is, if you're a musician, unless you play solo and a very small group. And for us, the three of us work together. It works. We don't. None of it, like Herman said. We don't have any egos. We may disagree, but but we agree to disagree, and it's never a argument or anything like that. Stuff like that. So, we have different style different disagreements, things like that. It's not so much that we disagree with each other on life, because for us, all three of us, it's like, hey, we're spiritually motivated, and that what matters to me. I mean, I wouldn't be here. I tell people, I had to thank God all the time because I wouldn't be here, if, with all of the things I've been through. And then I always tell people my story. I said, in my lifetime, I've been in 9 different hospitals. Sometimes some of them more than once, but at the end of the day, I'm still blessed, and here I am doing what I do, and I enjoy, so I enjoy life. So, that's that to me, is the part of the whole energy thing. And then people ask me, how do you get the energy? Well, I say 6 years ago I got sick and I lost weight. I was weak, and Herman remembers, and it was bad. But now I put liquid IV in my water. I drink that every day. I put vitamin B12 in my water, the same. And so for me it's daily. And then for my gut health, I eat yogurt every night before I go to bed. It's just those 3 things work for me. They help me out. So I don't have a lot of stomach issues or anything like that. And so, it's like, to me, that is like medicine for that. It's unprescribed medicine. And so it works for me. And so, with the music, it's like, hey, we just correct whatever it is. Somebody say they got a new song, all right, okay, let us hear what it is. Boom. And these guys play guitar way better than I play piano. So, and they say, man, you so busy, you ain't got time. And, so I'm starting to, practice chords and things like this. Something I could have been doing 20 years ago, but I guess I'm enjoying life so much. It tends to get kicked to the side a little bit. But what we do, it works. Because I don't use a sustain pedal when we play, so I do a lot of organs, strings, things like that, some piano stuff. But I can play for our songs. I know what I need to play. And,
Right.
I'm constantly working on it. And I'll be doing this until I can't. So.
Yeah. So how long have we been knowing each other, Charles? I mean, we've been playing up. How long have we been playing together?
Oh, well,
I never keep up with time. I have a trouble with time. Time passes, and I don't remember how long. I kind of live day by day, so the past kind of disappears with me. But you keep up more than me. So how long have we been hanging out together?
Well, we started in 2000. Well, Herman worked for a county facility. I was working at Rancho Los Amigos, which is a county facility. We met each other, I think it was in the 90s, but somewhere in the 90s. But then where I ran into him at this the vault was 2007, because I had just started writing. A guy I used to work with, Leo. He kind of got me into the music stuff. He was trying to help me, but I had just started. Just before he passed, he gave me a 2-channel mixer and an old microphone, and so I started using that as just kind of a way to record something over a cassette and stuff. And so then I started figuring it out, and then I ran into her in 2007, and he had this band with him and a couple other guys, Ricardo and Jose, and so I just came in, and there was Ricardo played guitar, Herman played guitar, and Jose played bass, and that was their thing. And I came in and wasn't really I didn't play piano. I was doodling along with them, and then over time we just got better, and here we are now. Since 2007, we released our first CD in 2012, and boom, here we are. What we're going to do, we're going to take a break real quick, and then when we come back, we're going to wrap it up. We're going to listen to Downtown Long Beach, and then we'll come back on the other side.
There's a cool place just south of L.A. where the people go to work and the people go to play. So many sights for you to see. You can take the family through, like the Queen Mary ship and the aquarium too. Once a year you see cars racing in the streets. People come from everywhere, checking out the Grand Prix. Go to see a show, or find a place to be. The place you wanna go, where the people wanna be is in downtown Long Beach, Southern California, USA. Downtown in Long Beach, the city by the waterfront, where the people work play. Downtown in Long Beach, higher in the air, you can see the skyline. You can even see the port that's busy all the time. From the shoreline, you can take off on a cruise or hang out at the beach and just enjoy the view. People seem to be out shopping everywhere. At the farmer's market, the freshest food is there. If you're going for a date or going just to see, something's always going on downtown in Long Beach. Downtown Long Beach, Southern California, USA. Downtown in Long Beach, the city by the waterfront, where the people work and play. Downtown in Long Beach, city of Long Beach, where the business people often meet. Downtown in Long Beach, there's always something going on when you get to Long Beach. Downtown in Long Beach, you might just fall in love with Long Beach. You might just fall in love with Long Beach. You might just fall in love in Long Beach. You might just fall in love in Long Beach. You might just fall in love.
All right. So that was Downtown Long Beach. So we're gonna kind of wrap it up here in a few. Just kind of go through a few. Let me take a shout out, give a shout out to our sponsor before we do anything. The American Heart Association, the Southern California Edison, and my guys over at YouTube Mobility. For sponsoring me with this scout that I have. And of course, Edison is constantly just, they're actually the sponsors that paying for this, helping us with the radio show, because at the PVA, Paralyzed Vets, we have a communication grant, and American Heart Association is, they're going to be buying us a brand new refrigerator. So Edison, paying for the radio show, and then YouTube, so there's a lot of things. And if you want to be a sponsor, you can give us a call. Or if you want to make donations to the Paralyzed Vets of America, you can give us a call or send us an email at info@pvacc.org. That's info at P as in Paul. That's Paralyzed Vets of America, California chapter. So pvacc.org. Or you can give us a call at our office. Area code 562-826-5713. Again, 562-826-5713. And, we are always here. If you want to become a member, give us a call. If you want to make a donation, if you want to know what we're doing, we're constantly just moving and shaking and cranking and doing and trying to make life better for those members who are either spinal cord injury, ALS, or MS. So if you want more information, give us a call or tell somebody. We have a lot of perks, things that work out for us. But so we'll wrap it up now. We'll talk to again. I have Herman Hogan, Ray Law. My name is Charles Whitehead. And, we are Per Se, and that's P-E-R-S-E. That's P-E-R-S-E, 2 words, Per Se. You can check us out online. We're just, we're a original song band. We don't do covers. And we enjoy what we're doing. And, we want to make sure that people know, our genres are, we're all over the place, but we do whatever. If you're interested in having us play for a gig, give us a call. Send a message. We do that for community. We don't always do stuff for pay. We do a lot of things for free. It's just in our DNA. We like to play. We love the music, and that's the biggest thing about it. We love the music, and we want to make sure that people know that. You guys have any last words? We have a few minutes, and once we start hearing the music, that's when we know it's time for us to go. But you got any last message for the people, Herman? You could take a minute here for you.
The only thing I can say is to people is do whatever you do because you love to do it, and it'll turn out well for you. That's the way I say. A lot of people do things for fame and for money and for glory or for whatever, and that's okay. But when you do it because you love to do what you do, it has a different effect on you, and it also has a different effect on the people that you're doing it for, because your heart is in it, and it's not in it because you're going to have something fortune drop in your lap. It's not ambition in the sense of trying to be successful. Just because your ego is going to be gratified. But you're doing it because you just love music and you want to share, or whatever you're doing. You could be a carpenter, you could be a pilot, you can be a doctor, you can be a street cleaner. It doesn't really matter. Martin Luther King said, whatever you do, do it for the love of it, and the world will make a beaten path to your doorstep because you do it because you love what you're doing. And it's not what you're doing, it's the reason you're doing it is what really counts. So that's all I can say,
Right. How about you, Ray?
Yeah, I agree with that. It's like here I am. We was talking about going to church. It goes, here I am. I'm sitting in the chapel of our church, after I did some of my leaf wrangling and stuff like that. But even when it comes to that, I mean, we've got in our parking lot, there's people that are raising money. They're having a car wash. They're raising money for a young girl who passed away, and they're doing a car wash here at the church, and that for people. And I come, especially within these last couple of days and so, I've come to the feeling where you have to do things in the living years, while you're here. And if you can make a difference and help somebody out, that's where it's at. My 3 words are this, right? Life is in the living is in the loving, and loving is in the giving. And if you can fulfill those 3 areas in your life, you've done good. You've made a difference, and that's the way I see it.
Oh,
and
good,
so
good.
With music, it's the thing that I love to do. Went to school, got a degree in music therapy, and that at Chapman University.
We're going to have to wrap it up, Ray, so you got to hurry up now. This is the Cool Veteran Show. We're going to see you guys next week. Again, the station that leaves no listener behind. Thank you very much. Charles Whitehead, Herman Hogan, Ray Law. We'll see you next time in 2 weeks. Thank you.
106.5 FM and KCAA 1050 AM.
Hi, I'm Alan Bartleman. Join me on KCAA Radio, 1050 AM and 106 FM for my brand new radio show, The Reformer, a show about America. I have a mule on my left shoulder and an elephant on my right, and I'm in the middle. I'll get down to the provocative issues. I'll open the phone lines, listen in or call in. That's every Thursday at 7 p.m. here on NBC, KCAA Radio, 1050 AM and 106 FM on the app or streaming broadcasts everywhere.
With 60 years of fascinating facts, this is the man from yesterday. And back in time we go to this time, in 1957, debuting in theaters here in the U.S., Brigitte Bardot in The Light Across the Street. Brigitte Bardot seems to be becoming more and more popular here in the U.S.
In America, although you do your pictures in French, you are one of America's most popular actresses. Why? Do you have any idea why?
I don't know.
And from this time in 1988, Michael J. Fox marries Tracy Pollan. The two met when Pollan was hired to play the girlfriend of Fox's Alice Keaton character on NBC TV's Family Ties.
All right, don't panic. You're older now. You're more mature. You can handle this. I gotta get out of here. So, you and Trisha must be pretty close, huh?
Met her yesterday.
Uh-oh. How'd that go?
She said hello when I said hello.
Sounds like she's got the gift of gab.
And from this time in 1991, playing in movie theaters, The Naked Gun with Leslie Nielsen, Priscilla Presley, and George Kennedy.
Can I interest you in a nightcap?
No, thank you. I don't wear them. It's true what they say. Cops and women don't mix. It's like eating a spoonful of Drano. Sure, it'll clean you out, but it'll leave you hollow inside.
With more at manfromyesterday.com.
Meet Barkley. When Barkley smells gas, he leaves fast. When Barkley hears hissing coming from a gas appliance, he leaves fast. When Barkley sees dirt or water shooting from the ground, he leaves fast. Barkley then calls 911 and Southwest Gas from a safe location.
Did that dog just grab a phone and dial 911?
Gas lines can be buried anywhere, so remember to call 911 and Southwest Gas.
One of the best ways to build a healthier local economy is by shopping locally. Teamster Advantage is a shop local program started by Teamster Local 1932 that has brought together hundreds of locally owned businesses to provide discounts for residents who make shopping locally their priority. Everything from restaurants like Corky's to fun times at SB Raceway and much, much more. If you're not currently a Teamster and you want access to these local business discounts, contact Jennifer at 909-889-8377, extension 224. Give her a call. That number again is 909-889-8377, extension 224.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Carton. President Trump has signed his massive spending bill into law.
And it includes the largest tax cut in American history, the largest spending cut, $1.7 trillion.
The signing took place during a 4th of July ceremony at the White House, where the president thanked Republican leaders who got the spending measure over the finish line by a razor-thin margin. The new law includes nearly $1 trillion in cuts to Medicaid over the next 10 years. Urgent search and rescue operations are underway following deadly flooding in Texas.
People need to know today will be a hard day.
At least 32 people have been killed, 9 of them children, after the Guadalupe River surged more than 20 feet in less than 90 minutes yesterday. Many of those who are still unaccounted for are children from a private Christian girls' camp along the river in Kerrville. The rushing water destroyed homes, campsites, and RV parks. Lisa Carton, NBC News Radio.
Sponsor Local 19, protecting the future of working families. Teamsters 1932.org.